Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. I'm Rob, your host, and I got to tell you, I'm really excited for today's episode. This is one I was hoping to be able to do, and our guest today was gracious enough to let us come up, and it's actually on his day off, a day that he's closed, so you can see how kind he is. But we get to come up and have a conversation, and we are doing that today with Chris from Pappa Gyros. And we also have joining us Chris Chambers, who is a semi-regular guest on the show. He eats at all these places, so we always like to get his input as well. So, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Rob. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be on here today and have a little conversation with you about the restaurant.
We're excited to get to talk a lot about your restaurant, what you're doing, and what you've already done here in Katy. I mean, you've come in and you've really made an impact. I mean, your food's absolutely outstanding. And we loved being able to come up and just eat it on a regular basis. But you also got some great accolades from Yelp about what you were doing. So we want to get into that a little bit later as well. But I wanted to start kind of how you came to Katy. I know you're not originally from Katy.
Sure.
And you and I had a conversation about kind of the concept of the restaurant, how you got that, and it was educational for me. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Very glad to. My family, we've been in the restaurant business quite a while. My father, with his family, they came from Greece in the 1960s. My dad and his family, they set out on a ship, landed in New York, and made their way to Michigan. We had some family there that helped them get established. My dad and his three brothers started the first restaurant in the 1970s. It was what they call a Coney Island restaurant, which up there is similar to a diner restaurant, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the Coney Islands, which are hot dogs,
right.
And they're very famous in Michigan. We make them here at Pappa Gyros. Basically the same recipe. We bring in the same hot dogs that they use up there. They're very authentic. People really love those. But that's how our family got its start. Serving the hardworking factory workers up there. Eventually, I came around and I started working right in the family business with my dad and my uncles. Eventually, they split off. They started their own restaurants. My father, George, started other restaurants. So we had several up there running all at once, It's very exciting.
Well, what I thought was interesting in our conversation the other day was, seeing your diner the first time I came in, it was a little bit unique to me. I hadn't seen anything like it, and obviously not in Katy. But you explained to me that this type of diner, tell us a little bit about where that comes from.
Well, most of the diner restaurants in the Northeast, even in places like New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Detroit, where we come from, for example, a lot of them are Greek-owned, And so the Greek food, it was brought in, it influenced the menus. We were basically a Greek-American diner up there. We had gyros, we had souvlaki, which are the grilled skewers. We had specialties like the moussaka and the pasticcio, the baked casserole dishes, the pastries, all the good stuff. That along with, the hot dogs, the burgers, the good hearty sandwiches, things that will keep you full on a hard-working day, And so that was a very standard menu. You could go to many different restaurants and experience, good quality food and good service. And like I said, most of them were Greek-owned restaurants.
Yeah, you said their diners up there are kind of like Mexican restaurants down here.
Yeah,
we have them all over. So diners like this are all over Detroit.
Absolutely.
Chicago.
Absolutely. They're everywhere. I did compare it to the Tex-Mex. When I first came down here, I was surprised. I said, wow. There's not too many diners, but the Tex-Mex restaurants are everywhere, and it reminded me of that.
Absolutely.
So, flash forward to coming down here. My parents had come down here first. I was still up there, but I was.
You visited, right?
I visited. I visited about, 3 or 4 times in the winter. And,
best time to come down.
And I came down. I said, boy, there's no snow.
Yeah.
This is great. I need to come down here.
Absolutely.
So made the decision, came down, and originally, my dad was retired. I was out of the restaurant business.
And at that point, you told me you kind of thought you might go in a different direction. Weren't going to get into the restaurant business again.
Sure. You know, I mean, it's a tough business, you know,
Sure.
and I had been doing it a lot of years since I was a kid, but I wanted to try something different. I went into the grocery business, working for the H-E-B grocery company
Yeah.
when I moved down here. And my first job was actually at the store as a butcher or a meat cutter, they call
Yeah.
it. And I worked right down the street here on Fry Road, Fry and 99,
The big one.
the big one.
Okay.
And I was there several years. I made my way over to another store, and it was from there that I was offered a position in the quality inspection division for produce.
Meat to produce.
Meat to produce, you know. For me, it wasn't that big of a jump, you know. I had been dealing with produce my whole life.
Sure.
In the restaurant business, you know, I'd get deliveries every other day. It's, you know, and we knew what to look for. And as I transitioned into the role, I learned more about, you know, some of the tropical fruits and things that are unique to this area. But you know, I was doing well there. I was in that position for about 3 years. But
And that was in what year?
gosh, that was in let's see, 2010, 11, 12. This is between 2013, 2015.
Okay.
You know, an opportunity came up with that company, H-E-B, to grow, to move to San Antonio, near their headquarters. But you know, I had been here in Houston now for several years. I had some roots down. I was engaged to my wife, Cassie.
Yeah.
We were going to be married soon. I wasn't sure about it, so in the back of my mind, the restaurant business was always, you know, it's always there.
Sure.
You know, you once you're in it, it's hard to shake that urge to get back into it.
Right.
And so I started looking, and I come across a restaurant that was for sale. It was Italian restaurant, Sapore Ristorante.
Sure.
And so my father George, who, you know, is my partner in both businesses, we decided to go take a look at it, you know. And the same thing for him. If you ask him, he was out,
He was retired.
but it's always
Couldn't
with
stay
you.
out.
He can't
Yeah.
stay out, you know, and he's there every night, you know, well, most nights. I let him out a few nights a week. Oh, he's great. He loves
Got to
it.
go have a little bit of fun with
That's
your mom.
that's right.
Yeah.
You know, take care of mom. But no, we went and took a look at it. You know, it was struggling. It was a few, you know, problems they had with the ownership and things like that you know, had been settled by the time we came in. But the reputation wasn't the greatest. You know, the food quality had suffered, you know, because of, you know, different things being a strain. But I recognized, and we recognized that it could be turned around. So we made an offer to go ahead and buy the place, which was accepted, and we took it over. And I believe it was November of 14, and turned it around
And you
ever
told
since.
me, well, I don't want to get too much into support.
Sure.
That'll be another one we'll do. But
Absolutely.
I did like that you said, you know, because I thought, well, if you took it over, maybe you might change the name. But I just want to touch on, you kept the name because you liked the name.
Well, the name's a very, very good name. You know, Sapore in Italian, it means flavor.
Yeah.
So Sapore is the flavor restaurant, and we wanted to bring our own flavor to that restaurant, which was the, you know,
Absolutely.
our
And-
family's flavor.
And you told me, who cooks, this will be the last thing on Sapori, but who cooks the best Italian food?
Well, you know,
I'm putting you on the spot here.
they say, and you can probably ask the Italians out there, they'll tell you, the Greeks do cook the best Italian.
I'm going to come up and try. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
and I'm embarrassed to say, I haven't been there since you all took over. I need to get back up there. Chris, I know you've been there a few times.
I have not been since they took it over. I went before, and you could definitely see the digression. So I've talked to some people who've gone, one of which he sent, Rip, a friend of ours, Rip and Tracy went. But I've heard extremely good things about it, so I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to trying it.
So Sapori kind of got you guys started back into the restaurant business in Katy.
Absolutely.
And then from there, how did you come up with, okay, we got this, it's doing well, we're kind of making the turn here at Sapori, but still want to do something else?
Well, you know, back to the business aspect of it. You know, once you're back, you know, you start to think, well, maybe we should do something like we had back home. You know, we saw kind of a void where we were missing that kind of eclectic diner,
Sure.
Greek style, Greek American menu here. I mean, there was, you know, several Mediterranean, Arabic style cuisine restaurants, some Lebanese, and I said, you know, we're missing that Greek American flair. So I started looking for a smaller place, you know, something that wasn't too big, something that maybe had a drive-through, and because that's big, you know, it's a quick service, it's friendly, but you know, it's a quick in and out type cuisine, you know.
And I didn't realize that until you told me that drive-through was important.
Oh yeah, drive-through is important, you know, because you know, I'm thinking back to the days of when we were up in Michigan, and you know, we were feeding mostly factory workers and workers in general. So, you know,
Plus weather. I mean, it's
weather.
cold.
Yes, absolutely. You know, a great lunch, you know, for a good value and great service and a quick in and out. That's key to
That's
you
awesome.
know, this kind of cuisine. And I started looking, and there was a few different places that we found, just didn't fit the bill. I came across this one. This had been when I moved down here, an A&W restaurant,
I remember that.
and I had never been to it. You know, next thing I saw, it had closed. Fajita place
Yeah.
came in, and actually that's who we purchased it from, the owner of the fajita restaurant. You know, they were not doing too well. Some things had fallen through with the partnership that they had, and you know, these things happen in the restaurant business,
Sure.
in any business. You know,
Sure.
it can happen to anybody. So, you know, I saw some potential here. The space obviously needed to be, you know, cleaned up, so we had a lot of work to do. When we took this place over, I was here with my father every day before we started dinner service at Sapore, getting things out, cleaning, building new walls, you know, getting the bones right,
Sure.
so we could get in here and make it happen. But after we were done, you know, we're very proud of what we've done here, you know.
I
This
think
little
it's
space.
great. I think it's fantastic, and
It's one of the nice hidden gems in Katy.
man, it really
Thank
is.
you.
And I don't know how hidden
Well,
is
it's
it
not anymore.
Yeah, it's, words out. But you know, we just thought it would be great. Everybody obviously knows how good your food is, and it's raved about here in Katy. But a lot of times people don't know the person behind it, and,
Sure.
and we always like to come out and do these shows and let everybody who listens kind of get to meet you guys who are putting your heart and soul into it and delivering some fantastic food. So, having said that, let's jump into your menu here. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is
Absolutely.
like comfort food, great food. I mean, you're just gonna eat something. I mean, you're across the board too. We've got everything here. But I would say that you're probably, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Chris, but most well known for gyros,
Absolutely.
your hot dogs, which are Coney Island and Detroit dogs and Chicago dogs.
Absolutely, yes.
Italian beef is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that's a
It's
classic.
got to be one of your best sellers.
It is. It's an old school, you know, very very great sandwich, originating from Chicago,
Okay.
and it's a very old sandwich. It was started in the 1920s. They started to make this sandwich, and you know, the story is that I've heard, a lot of the diner owners, you know, again, Greek diners, even in Chicago at that time, there was a big influx of Italian immigrants, you know, in that time in Chicago between the 1920s, 1930s, and they wanted to attract those workers into their restaurants. Well, a lot of them worked in the stockyards, you know, and they would come and they'd bring the tougher cuts of beef, and they would stew them down and simmer them slow until the beef became tender.
Yeah.
And the original reason for dipping the bread was because it was usually sometimes 2-3 day old bread, you know, and they had to dip it to make it
Soften it up a
softer.
little bit, yeah.
But you know what? It was so good. And of course, nowadays we use fresh sliced meat and fresh baked bread, and it's great. But you know, that's how it originated.
Okay.
And you know, it changed. Now you go to Chicago, there's so many great Italian beef restaurants. There's Portillo's, there's Al's
Portillo's is
Beef.
one of them,
These
yeah.
are the
Yeah.
these are the big restaurants. But there's small mom and pop restaurants all over town too. And we wanted to do our Italian beef just like you'd get in Chicago. So we brought down the bread from Chicago. We've got real giardiniera. We make our own sweet peppers. We slice
Wow.
the beef. We dip it in the au jus. I mean, it's a true Chicago
It's authentic.
experience. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could get a beef here at Pappa Gyros. You could fly to Chicago.
Compare the two.
You can compare the two, and I think ours may still be a little better. But
I don't doubt it.
I've been to Portillo's and Al's, and yours is as good, if
Well,
not better.
We can tell you that before you came to town, what did we used to do to get Italian beef?
Order it.
Order it from Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Oh, air
Yeah.
mail.
We did the
We'd
same thing.
have
With,
it-
we did
Oh,
the same
boy.
thing with pizza
Do
too.
the same thing with pizzas, some pizzas too, but we got some good pizza joints.
There's
now,
some good
so,
pizzas coming up
coming
around
up
here.
now.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
we used to do that, but thankfully we don't have to. I can just, drive 5 minutes, come over here and get a good Italian beef sandwich, and I'm set.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your menu, Chris.
Sure.
I mean, I'll let you kind of, like we said, we got the gyros and everything, but you got some great original Greek plates. Some dishes
Absolutely.
that people can get here.
Oh yeah, we do not only the gyros, but we also do some traditional dishes that you get in Greek homes everywhere. I mean, moussaka is one of the most popular casserole dishes that we sell here, and it's kind of like a Greek shepherd's pie. It's baked in the oven. There's several layers. We start with a roasted potato, roasted eggplant, some ground meat that's been seasoned with the Greek herbs and spices. And of course, the top layer is traditional bechamel. And when you bake it in the oven, it becomes like a custard. So it's very savory, very
Yeah.
rich dish. And the way we do it, my yaya, my grandmother, she would always put a little bit of tomato sauce on top with feta cheese. And so we do it the same way here.
Okay.
It's our little twist.
Yeah.
Everyone really loves it.
Awesome.
Another dish that's very popular is our souvlaki, and that's a kebab. In Greece, the traditional souvlaki is pork.
Okay.
Here we offer chicken and pork, and what it is very simply marinated with Greek herbs, lemon juice, olive oil, and we grill it over an open flame, and it's just fantastic. Great flavor. We in Greece we love to eat it with a little pita bread and tzatziki,
Yeah.
and you can't go wrong with that. It's so good.
I'm getting hungry right now.
We can fire up the grill.
There you go.
That sounds good.
There you go. Now, what's a sides that would come with a plate like that? Is this traditional
Absolutely.
Greek sides?
We do some traditional Greek sides. We do a very nice rice pilaf, which
Okay.
is rice that's been cooked with lemon and chicken stock. It has toasted orzo, which is like a Greek pasta rice, we call it. The Italians, I believe they call it rizzoni, but in Greek it's orzo. And that's a very, very tasty rice. We also do a nice Greek salad here, very traditional with the tomatoes and the onions and the feta. We use
Kalamata olives.
real Greek kalamaravs,
Nice.
no substitutions. Very, very tasty. And the dressing we make is my aya's recipe, my grandmother. And boy, when we were kids, she used to make it in a big jar, okay, glass jar, and she'd keep it in the fridge. And all the cousins, were left with grandma, while mom and dad and all our uncles were at the restaurant. We were there at grandma's house, driving her crazy. But whenever she'd make the dressing, we'd always sneak in, and it was so good you could just drink it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we'd put it on everything.
Yeah,
whether it was vegetables or salad or chips. I mean, it was just amazing. So we make it the exact same way. I found her recipe book years ago, and it's mostly in Greek, but we translated a lot. My father helped with
That's
that,
awesome.
and it's amazing. Some of the items that we serve, actually a lot of the items that we serve here are her recipe. The moussaka I mentioned earlier, the pastitsio, which is a Greek lasagna, very tasty.
I think that's awesome that
Oh,
you
yeah.
have those family recipes that you continue to make here and that we get to enjoy. So that's great.
Thank you.
Chris, what's your favorite thing to eat here?
My favorite is probably the gyro or the Italian beef. Now, the good thing about this is when me and my family come, we have a very wide variety of what everybody gets. My son sticks to the buffalo chicken pita. My daughter is either the Detroit coney or the burger. She flip-flops between the two. And then Terry runs her way up and down the gyro and the moussaka, if they have the moussaka.
Yeah.
I've tried several times, and you did not have it. I finally got to have it one time. And it was
That
amazing.
tells you how popular it is.
It is. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Absolutely.
So that was the other thing I was going to touch on. We talked about the hot dogs that you make, the Coney,
Sure.
the Detroit, the Chicago. But you also make a fantastic burger.
That's
your-
true.
Your burgers are outstanding.
Oh, thank you. You know, we do, I mean, it's a simple burger. I'd be lying to you if I told you there was some big secret to the burger, but what it is just fresh ground beef, you know, that we pan out by hand. Good little seasoning on it, and we grill it fresh to order every time. I use a nice brioche bun.
That's what got
and,
me.
And we just, it's fresh to order, you know. You get a lot of burgers nowadays. You go to the fast food restaurants or even some of the nicer places. They'll have them part cooked or they're sitting in a warmer. Nothing beats a fresh, juicy burger right off the grill.
On a good
You know,
bun.
on a
Buns
good bun.
make a difference.
Gotta have a great bread. That's the
Yeah.
foundation for any sandwich.
Absolutely.
You know,
the
fresh.
vehicle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fresh toppings, and you're great. You know. Now we do have some creative burgers that we feature on the menu too. Some things that are unique to us. The Pappa burger is probably the most popular.
My wife tried to talk me into getting that last Thursday, and I steered away just because it was terrifying to look at.
It's a giant.
Yeah. Tell everybody
uh,
what's on that.
It's a full half
amazing.
pound, so that's 2 quarter-pound patties, okay, loaded with about another half pound, probably a little more of Italian beef, which is the thin sliced roasted beef,
Right.
and we dip it in the au jus so it soaks up some of that flavor.
Yeah.
Then we load it with melted mozzarella, sweet peppers, giardiniera, which is a blend of spicy peppers and vegetables, and homemade marinara right on top, on the same brioche bun, just fully loaded. I've
You
seen
have people who finish that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
that's
I've,
impressive.
Is it a fork and knife job?
I've seen people very skillfully.
It
they
sounds
pick
like a
it up
fun
and
matchup.
they eat it. I mean,
That's impressive.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've been impressed by many people. It to me it's probably best a fork and knife job, but it can definitely be done if you've got the skill.
Yeah.
If you can do the Italian stance, you know, where you lean in, you'll be in good shape.
Now, the first time I had Pappa Gyros was, God, 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
No.
Has it been that long?
It's
No.
been that long.
Yeah.
Has it been that long? Okay.
And
Yes, sir.
we got it over at my store. They came over and picked it up, and they had a menu. So what do you want? I said, oh, God, the Chicago dog sounds good, or the sausage sounds good, but so does the Italian beef. Well, he's got one that's got both on it. It's got the Italian sausage and the Italian beef. I said, let me try that. Couldn't even finish it.
That combination
Couldn't even finish it.
is the ultimate. In Chicago, they call that the combination. We call it the beef and sausage combo here.
Okay.
And what it is, it's a char-grilled hot Italian sausage loaded onto that Italian roll. Then we pile the beef on top, okay, with sweet and hot peppers. From there, you can have the sandwich your choice of 3 different ways. Dry, which is we just leave it alone. Wet, we take more of that au jus and ladle it right over the top.
Okay.
Or dipped, which is my personal favorite.
Mine too.
And the Chicago and, you know, the staple, where we submerge the entire sandwich into the au jus, let it soak in all that juice, wrap it up, and I mean it's
Everybody in the pool.
oh yeah, it's ready to go. Now people say, "Oh, Chris, you dip it in the au jus, won't it fall apart?" No, because the beauty of that bread that we bring down from Chicago is it's such a nice bread. It holds up to that
Nice crust
dip.
that keeps it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's I mean, gluten-free and all that is popular now, but this bread is actually higher in gluten,
Yeah.
which allows it to soak up that juice. So
I'm okay with that. I'm
I
not
am too.
gluten free, so I'm good
It's-
with that.
it is. Now with that said, I've got a lot of customers now, and my wife included, who are doing that keto diet right
Okay,
now, and they're
yeah.
cutting out a lot of the carbs. We can do that sandwich as a salad, and it's phenomenal.
That's a great idea.
Oh yeah, it's
Still
been
get all that flavor.
it's been popular. Any of our sandwiches, customers can come and ask for it keto style, and we'll make a fantastic salad out of it. So
Well, that's good to know.
absolutely.
That's outstanding. I'll tell you, I've been all over the menu trying different things, and I've not been disappointed with anything I've had here. But one of my favorites to get always and I eat it as an appetizer. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but spanakopita.
Oh yeah, spanakopita.
That's one of my favorites.
It's very good, and in Greece, spanakopita is eaten for breakfast. It's eaten as a midday,
Okay.
meal snack. But it's very popular, and it's phyllo pastry that's wrapped around or stuffed with spinach, feta cheese, and we make it traditional here with the spinach and feta. It's very good. You bake it in the oven, you get that nice crisp phyllo, that gooey spinach and
Absolutely.
cheese on the inside. Can't be beat.
That, and I also like your stuffed grape leaves, which
Oh,
are
yes.
fantastic as well. And these are more, are they an appetizer? Are they a meal? How
Well,
do you eat these?
in Greece, grape leaves would be considered a meze, which is an appetizer.
Okay.
You know, um,
That's how I eat them.
they're very good as an appetizer. They can be served cold with tzatziki to dip, or we like to serve them here warm with avgolemono sauce, which is a lemon sauce.
Oh, that
And
sounds
it's delicious. They melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
They've got that great lemon flavor.
Anything else on the menu that stands out? I mean, well, here's one thing I do want to talk about. You
Sure.
and I were talking about this the other day. We all kind of remember a few weeks ago the big hype about Popeyes and about Chick-fil-A and who
Absolutely.
has the best chicken sandwich. I think there's another player in town for that.
I've
for
had
that
it here.
title.
I've had it here.
Well, we had to do it. I mean, I saw all that was going on. The battle between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes, and I said, man, I think we can make a chicken sandwich here, and serve it right, and it's going to be a hit. And my wife, Cassie, she does fried chicken at the house for us sometimes, and
She's a good cook.
Oh, she's a great cook.
Yeah.
Great cook and such a big help for us here at the restaurant. But I basically stole her recipe for the batter for the breading of this chicken fillet, and we fry it fresh to order, okay, on a buttered brioche bun with a couple pickle slices, just very classic. And I made a special sauce. A lot of people they're trying to put their thumb on it. What's in it?
Yeah.
We call it the Pappa sauce.
I like
I'm
that.
not giving away any secrets. So it's very good. When people ask, we tell them it's like Chick-fil-A sauce but better.
There you go.
All right, and it's been a hit. The first week, I couldn't believe the amount of volume we went through. I had to order much more chicken that week. We had sold, it was a little bit over a week, but we sold 1,000 sandwiches. So an average of over 200 sandwiches in a day. I mean, that's a lot of chicken sandwiches.
1,000 chicken sandwiches at Pappa Gyros.
So, as the word spread, people were just coming to try it. I got nothing but compliments about it. Everyone really liked the flavors, and we still have it here. It's not a permanent menu item, but I have it here. We make it all the time. I'm thinking it's going to have to be because it's so popular
I
with
think
everybody.
it should be too. I'll be honest. I was up here yesterday. I think you knew that. And as I was at the counter here standing, a guy came in and said, "Do you guys by chance have a chicken sandwich?"
Really?
And he got steered to the Cassie's Southern Fried Chicken Sandwich and ordered a couple of them actually.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I think keeping it on the menu, having that chicken sandwich, it's a popular thing.
It is.
And I don't think there's any doubt that you probably make it really, really well. I haven't had it yet, but I'm looking forward to trying
It's
it.
excellent. I recommend
Have you had
extra pickles and extra sauce.
Okay. Yes.
There we
Is there a
go.
little kick to the sauce?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's just good.
So can you? I guess you could ask for a sauce that could give it a little kick if somebody wants a little heat on it.
Oh yeah. Speaking of sauces with heat, we've got hot sauces here.
You do your own.
We do our own hot sauces
talk
under the
about
Pappa
those.
Gyros label.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of different flavors. We started with a chipotle sauce, a Cajun, and a habanero. We've expanded now to a jalapeno-based sauce, a cayenne-based sauce, and we've got a new sauce. It's called the Ridiculously Hot Sauce. And this sauce, it really is ridiculously hot. It's made with dry-aged habaneros with the seeds, ground right into the sauce.
So it's got some heat.
And there may be a little extra capsaicin extract in there, which just, takes it to another level.
Sure.
So, people have been trying it here. We've got all the hot sauces available here. You can try them as much as you like on your food. We sell them. But anytime I see somebody grab that ridiculous sauce, I try to give them a warning. I let them know one drop will be enough. And believe it or not, some people are hotheads. They love that hot sauce, and I've seen.
They can take it.
Oh yeah, they can take it. They load their sandwiches up, and they don't break a sweat doing it.
I was going to say there's a guy sitting to your left who
Oh,
hotter,
boy.
hotter the better.
All right.
I only know of one story where the Peppers won, but other than that, you've held up pretty good, Chris.
I have. I can hold my own. I had Carolina Reapers yesterday at a
Well,
tailgate.
Carolina Reaper, that's a hot pepper
that's a
there.
pepper.
I stay away from those.
It was in a popper wrapped in bacon with the maple syrup kind of that they put over it, which was actually pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It did make me a little eyes watering a little bit, but it was good.
And I'm familiar with, most of the sauces and the peppers, obviously in Texas, habaneros and jalapenos and chipotles. And I love all those flavors. But you had one sauce in particular that I was curious with, and I'm looking forward to trying it, which is your Greek garlic hot sauce.
Yeah,
Where
absolutely.
does that one come from?
Well, it's got some Greek chili peppers, dried chili peppers
Okay.
that they're rehydrated and used in the sauce itself with garlic. So it really is a Greek garlic hot sauce. It's very tasty. That's been probably, as of late, one of the most popular ones.
Okay.
We were at a chili cook-off yesterday, and I had the hot sauces there available for people to taste, and I set out one of each bottle. At the end of the day, the Greek garlic was empty.
Was it really?
Yes, I had to open a second one. People
Wait.
kept coming back for that Greek garlic.
You were nice enough to give me a bottle of that, so I'm really looking forward to trying that and see what I think. So
Fantastic.
Probably do that today.
So, as the owner of Pappa Gyros, how'd you do in the chili cook-off?
Well,
Well, let's give him a little run on that. Is it a Greek chili?
it was a Greek-inspired chili. I used basically the same ingredients that I used to make our Detroit and Flint-style Coney Island chili sauce.
Okay.
Now that sauce originated in the Greek diners up in the northeast in Michigan, in Detroit, to be more specific. Some of the original Coney Island restaurants, as early as the 1900s, early 1900s, they opened there. A couple of them are still around, actually. American Coney Island and Lafayette Coney Island.
Oh,
which
really?
They've been featured on different shows, diners, drive-ins, and dives, challenge shows. But it's funny because those two Coney Islands are right next door to each other on Lafayette Street in Detroit, downtown. And there was a Kyros family from Greece that opened those restaurants. The first one, American Coney Island, I believe it was John Kyros, opened it sometime 1904, 1905. Don't quote me on that. But he was doing so well, he decided to bring his brother to help him. And he was there for several years working alongside his brother. Years later, they had a falling out. He says, well, I'm going out on my own. Little did he know, he was going to open one right next door to him. And they've been right next to each other ever since.
But they both survived.
They both survived. So that
Healthy competition.
Absolutely, absolutely. That chili that they serve is very much like what we serve here. I mean, the recipes are almost identical. I get Detroiters in that they try our Coney Island. They say, "Oh my gosh, it's just like Lafayette," and that's because it is. We use the same
Oh,
ingredients.
that's awesome.
That chili I took and I modified it a little bit. I added a little bit more meatiness to it, some coarser ground beef, some ground pork for this event, and some spices, some extra heat, jalapenos, serrano pepper, and
Okay.
some of the dried Greek chilies that we use
Yeah,
for the
nice.
sauce. And I was able to create the chili. We had to cook everything on site, so we started right at 8 a.m. when they let us in. We got set up, got going. By noon, we were ready to serve, and I'm happy to say we took first place.
And let me
yesterday.
ask a question I know the answer to. It's a dumb question.
Sure.
Is there any left for me to try?
I wish there was.
I kind of knew that answer.
we were out. I mean, they asked us to cook 2 gallons, and I said, okay, I'm going to cook 5 because I've been to a couple events before. You always want to have extra.
Sure.
And even if it's just to take home with you and have for dinner. But we were out. I mean, we were probably one of the last teams to run out, but there were so many people. I think they had triple the people they had expected, which it was for a good cause. It was
That's what I
for
wanted
the
to talk about. Go ahead and tell us what it was
yeah,
for.
it was for the Officers Memorial Fund. So families of fallen officers, their widows, their children, they benefit from this. So it was for a really good cause.
Multiple police departments.
Yes,
Okay.
multiple police departments. It was put on by a great company here in Katy called Off Duty Services. They're
Is it
fantastic.
just to benefit the Houston area, or is this larger?
I believe
than
it's for
Texas,
the
or-
I believe it's for the national,
National,
fund.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
it's
That's a great
across
cause.
the entire country, and we're happy to be a part of that. So all the proceeds from the ticket sales, silent auction, it all went to that, and it was just a great honor to be out there. We really love to support important things like that.
Absolutely. When you talk about police officers who every day go out and put their life on the line to protect the citizens of our cities and counties and states, and it's very, very important. I think it's a great cause. And
Absolutely.
We appreciate you supporting that as well. And we appreciate Katy, the community,
Yes.
supporting an event like that. So that's
Oh, yeah.
awesome. So, but first place is what you got.
First place is what we got. We were so excited. I had never been to a competitive cook-off like that for chili before, and there was actually teams there that were professional
I bet.
chili cook-off
Big old
teams.
rig they bring you
Rigs
in.
they had,
Yeah.
sponsored by companies like Kingsford, and I'm here. We're a restaurant, but it's a little different.
Well,
being
they do
out
that
there,
every day, or at
It's-
least multiple times a year. They're perfecting
yeah.
their recipe. You just kind of said,
Yeah.
I can put something together.
That's exactly right, and just the support. I could tell something was going on because people were coming to our tent and they were telling us there's a buzz going out. Everybody's telling them to come here, and so I saw our line. We had a line that seemed endless. You'd look over some of the other tents that didn't have any lines, so I'm thinking, okay, we have something here. So I will be making the same chili. We're going to have it available
That's awesome.
here at the restaurant for the next few weeks. Is the award-winning chili available to
Definitely gonna
come
wanna
and
come get a
taste?
bowl of
So
that, yeah.
absolutely,
Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds great. And great time of year, too. Getting into a little bit colder weather, temperatures dropping, come up and get a nice bowl of chili
absolutely.
as a side to your dog or your
Oh, yeah.
burger. Absolutely. So will you have two different sides, a bowl and a cup?
A bowl and a cup, absolutely. It definitely will be available as a side item.
I want to get back to your menu item, and specifically hot dogs. And you and I forgot we talked about this the other day, and I thought it was kind of funny. But there's an unwritten rule about a condiment in hot dogs. What is that?
Well, in traditionally ketchup is a no-no. And
Do we know anybody who might put ketchup on a hot dog?
now wait a minute. You said you weren't going to call me out on this, but
I'm not calling you out. We're calling somebody else out. A friend of ours.
Well,
Not me.
I think I've seen Mr. Sean Fitzsimmons
What?
put some ketchup on his Detroit Coney Island, but I could have been
Sean,
wrong.
say it ain't so.
Sorry, Sean. No, it's funny. One of the rules I have here at the restaurant, and I'm very, very. I tell our kids, our employees, I call them my kids, but we take care of our customers. We treat them like their family. As soon as they come in the door, we got to greet them and take great care of them. It's part of the hospitality. It's part of the mentality here. But I always tell them, if anybody asks for ketchup on the hot dog, just let them know
We're out.
we're
We're out.
We're out.
so they know I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're giving ketchup. You just might give them a funny look. as you
That's
give it to
right.
them. Yeah.
We always do it. We take good care of them. It's just it's a little inside joke we have
Yeah.
here
Sean will get a
in-house.
kick out of it. You know that.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right. Well, let's jump to another subject that I'm excited about.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people know it, but there may be some who don't know it. You're growing. You're expanding.
Absolutely. We were so excited. We made the announcement a few weeks ago that we purchased some land right in the corner of Mason and Franz Road here in Katy. It's going to be our second location of Pappa Gyros, full-size, standalone building.
And I kind of want to cut you off there.
Sure.
You said second location, because I
Yeah.
know me included and some other people were worried that you might be closing this location, but it's not.
Correct. This location here on the corner of Kingsland and 99 is going to be staying open. This has been a great spot for us. This is, a good location for us. We've got great support in the area. I would hate to leave it, you know, and not have it running.
We'd hate for you to leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we're planning on keeping this opening, and that will be our second location. You know, it'll be bigger. It'll give people an option with larger groups, or if they want to bring, you know, the family, the extended family down. We're going to have more seating over there.
You said it should be able to seat inside
We're
about.
planning on seating about 50 inside.
Yeah, that's a nice size
You
little
know,
dining room.
it's a good sized dining room. The building's going to be about 3,000 square feet, sitting on just over half an acre. Plenty of parking, which that's been one of the challenges here with the small parking spaces next to the gas station. But you know, I got to give it up for our customers. You know, they're making their way in. And we appreciate it. You know, I know it's hard sometimes, especially during the peak hours, and we do our best to get everybody in and out quickly and take good care of them. So
Yeah, I've always had great service here. You guys are fantastic, and being able to call too and place an order and then just come up and pick it up. If I need to do
absolutely,
that, which is great.
absolutely.
So, but I do want to tell people when they come into the restaurant, they need to come in and look at the wall as they come into their right, and you've got the architectural rendering of what the new restaurant's going to look like, and it's pretty cool. It's still keeping with that diner kind of look and feel. I mean, you got the car. I mean, that's a really cool rendering of what you're going to have built out there.
Absolutely. You know, when we sat down with the architect months ago and we were talking about design, and one of the things that, you know, we talked about was still keeping the Greek aesthetic, you know, and in the rendering there, they've, you know, got things like columns and the colors, Greek blue and white are you know, Greek national colors, but also still capturing the diner feel. And one of the things I had mentioned to them, you know, if you go into any old town, downtown, there's always that marquee theater,
Sure.
and it's got the spire, and they kind of took that element and incorporated it into our front entrance. So it's very nice, and we're excited. And it's going to be a great, you know, icon there
Yeah.
on a good area in Katy, Texas. You know, we live here, my wife and I. We just love the city. It's been so great for us, and I want to be here a long time. You know.
And two other things I want to mention about the new restaurant.
Sure.
One is you're still going to have a drive-through.
Absolutely. Still going to have a drive-through. You know, like I said, the convenience is important for us, and I want our customers to be able, if they need to, you know, get in and get out and be on their way, you know, I want them to be able to have us as an option still. And of course, we're going to do some more efficient drive-through over there. We've got plans to set it up so where there's a speaker box and things like that. If you've ever been through the drive-through here,
Pull up to the window.
we're kind of a pull-up place, but
Yeah.
I will say we've taken a play from Chick-fil-A's book where during the high traffic times,
Somebody goes out there and takes the order.
exactly,
That happened to me.
we send them out and we come out. I come out if everybody's busy, and we'll take your order out there, barring any kind of hurricane weather or anything. Sometimes it's not practical, but we get out there, and by the time you get to the window, your food is usually ready. So we try to make the best of it.
It's just good customer service.
Well, we don't want people to be waiting longer than necessary, and you know, we recognize that people have to you know, make it through their day, and they're on the go, and they've got
Lunch
important
break.
things. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we want to get them fresh food as quickly as possible with great service along the way, you know, and that's been important for us too.
So, two more things on the new restaurant. You're going to have beer and wine, which is great because, you know, the kind of food you serve with dogs and burgers and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in and being able to have a cold beer, that's going to be nice.
Absolutely. We're going to have selections of beer and wine, you know. It's going to be great. Gyros pair very well with a nice ice cold lager.
There you go.
Just saying. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And same with that Italian beef and a juicy burger.
And some of your nice plates, you can have a nice glass of wine. have a nice
Absolutely.
meal. Yeah.
You know, the Greeks, you know, they've been making some great wine, so we plan on having some Greek wine available. Also, probably some, you know, wines from California.
Oh, that'd be
Maybe
nice.
even a few Italian. You know, we do have the Italian restaurant. I'd love to incorporate some of the wines that we have there into the new place as well.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Now, what about menu? And I don't know if you've gotten there yet or not, but are you planning on, obviously you're going to have, I'm assuming, everything you have here.
Absolutely.
Are we going to expand on that at all?
We are planning on doing some expansion to the menu. You know, we've got a pretty good sized menu here, but I did want to add, you know, some things like the Greek roasted chicken,
Wow.
you know, oven roasted potatoes, things like lamb shank that we've been doing here as specials, and people have really liked them. And over there with the larger kitchen, we'll be able to do it more on a regular basis. It's going to be a pretty big kitchen, and coming from this little kitchen to that big kitchen, we'll be able to make a lot more dishes more efficiently, hold them correctly, and also too the pastries.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to, your desserts.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
we're going to be making a lot more pastries over there too.
Well,
We've got plans.
Let's talk about what you have here
Sure,
as far as desserts, and then kind of, you gave me a couple of things you may be expanding the dessert menu over there. Let's talk. Can we talk about those?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. You know, here, I mean, we've got quite a bit to start with. We've got our baklava, which is a classic phyllo pastry with walnuts and it's honey soaked. It's just savory and delicious. We make Greek cookies, 3 different kinds:
Okay.
kurambiades, melomacarona, and koulouria. It's mouthfuls, right?
Yeah.
But if you remember wedding cookie, Easter cookie, and Christmas cookie,
Okay.
you're okay. The first thing, speaking of the names, the cookies are always the hardest for my new staff members to learn.
Oh, I bet.
So I'm always quizzing them on cookies. It's
They don't
funny.
say wedding, Easter, and Christmas?
No, they've got to learn the Greek words first, and then I let them cheat. But
There you go.
no, it's those are very, very delicious, and those are family recipe cookies as well. But the other items, you know, that we have here right now, things like New York style cheesecake, very, very tasty. We make a great cheesecake.
Made in-house. Graham
Absolutely.
cracker crust.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
nice and thick. You know.
Okay.
It is so delicious. Key lime pie we do here.
One of my wife's favorites.
Especially, oh, wonderful. We also make a risogallo, which is a Greek rice pudding. Very tasty. Just made the traditional way, topped with fresh ground cinnamon. Can't go wrong.
Wow, that sounds good too.
And lastly, probably the most popular dessert here is the lukumades, which are basically like Greek donuts.
Okay.
And they're fried fresh to order, soaked with honey, topped
the
with
ones I was
cinnamon
thinking.
and
Yep.
powdered sugar. They are so good. They
Those
melt.
are dangerous.
They melt in your mouth. You
Yeah.
can eat 10 of them without even.
Yeah, that's why I say
yeah,
they're dangerous.
Absolutely.
That's an outstanding menu. I mean, you cover in such a small place here. Not only do you put all that food out, but everything you put out is really good. I mean,
Thank you.
Fantastic food. So, what else do we want to cover, Chris? Anything else you want to talk about? I know your son loves it up here.
He does. I mean, you can't get a better menu that's, I don't know how many different countries you can get food from here. And there's something for everybody. And to do it out of such a small kitchen is pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you letting us come up and take a little bit of your time and having a conversation and letting our listeners kind of get to know who you are, kind of behind Pappa Gyros and also behind Sapore. So we appreciate that.
That was a pleasure. Thank you for doing this. It was very nice to sit down and talk with you guys. Very honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll do it again, I hope.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.